What's going on? I'm El Director. This is El Director Vision. You're watching Surviving the Wild. That's right, we're bringing it back again for Commentary 2, Episode 2 of my Surviving the Wild series. If you watched the previous one, which was my first trip out where I did not actually spend the night because I freaked myself out, then you already know what the setup for all this is. But for those that haven't watched that one yet, which I highly suggest you do because it is pretty funny when you go back and hear what the truth was of what was going on. This is me paying tribute again to Les Stroud. My series was a tribute to him, Les Stroud, Survivor Man. And these little commentary videos are my current tribute to him because he's gone back into these recently. So I figured I would do the same thing. Also, here's the deal. If I can get 1,000 views on this one and the previous one, I will keep doing these commentaries for you guys and we'll go through the entire series. If I can get 1,000 views on every episode in the series, I'll go out and I'll go do another Surviving the Wild episode. Those of you guys that know me, it's been a while since we've done it. And as I explained in the last one, it's because I busted up my knee and my hip has been busted up as well. So now that's all kind of starting to feel better. I've got treatment for my knee and my hip is almost completely healed up due to stuff that's going on with my mouth. Again, go watch the last episode and I explain that a little bit more. So here we are, episode 2. This is truly my first time spending the entire night out in the outdoors alone by myself. So let's check it out. 3, 2, 1, marker. Okay, yeah, so now this one, I bring the bow and arrow. And I brought it because I needed protection. I say, oh yeah, it's for hunting and stuff like that. No. It was really just because I didn't yet have a .44 Magnum. I didn't buy this until I moved out here to Montana. So Liberty Lake, which is where we're filming all this, like I said, it was 25 minutes from my apartment I was living at. It has big cats. They're known for their cats and occasional bear sightings as well. I can actually keep following the little creek that I'm camping along to the Idaho border. So, I mean, it is getting pretty rustic out there. And yeah, I needed some form of protection besides just a knife.
Hello everyone.
And I didn't have the money at the time. I was broke, dude. I was living paycheck to paycheck, working at a call center right now.
Well, in this time, it's in that transitionary period between winter and spring.
Yeah, winter runoff. That's right. So I didn't have the money for a firearm yet, of any sorts. I don't even think I had my shotgun at the time.
Temperature today feels like it's around 50.
Can't remember, but I'm not gonna carry a shotgun in a state park either. So the pack I've got. This is a Kelty 6400. I can't remember what line it was a part of, but it was a Kelty 6400 pack because at the time they were doing it based upon cubic inches versus liters. So 6400 cubic inch pack. And there's my Buck 119 Special, which was my junior high graduation gift. Still got the same hat, still got the bandolier water bottle. And I've made another mistake. I'm wearing a cotton shirt. Don't do that. I had a workout shirt in the last one, a half zip from Old Navy, and that wasn't the smartest choice either. So I'm still learning in these early episodes. I really didn't know what I was doing except for fire. I could do fire, but I couldn't really do anything else. I was figuring it out as I went.
So we do a couple cool things for you guys today. Since it is the winter months, we'll go through and I'll show you my gear when I get to my camping spot. I've also got a couple other little surprises as well that I think you guys will like.
I'm talking about the margarita. I made a margarita, a blended margarita, and stuck it in an Nalgene bottle and brought that with me. I thought, well, maybe that'll help me sleep at night and calm my nerves because I freaked out the last time and left in the middle of the night.
You guys can see what those are later. But anyway, Keeper and I are out here.
Must work because I did spend the night this time.
Keeper, sit. Sit. Say hi.
Pretty girl.
Yeah, it's the dog. It's Keeper, a little black lab. And
camera-wise, again, this is shot on a Canon ZR800
150 right now.
mini DV camera, standard def. It did shoot widescreen, so this is the full screen, which is nice. And again, we're at Liberty Lake County Park or State Park in eastern Washington.
And that stuff is awesome. It's kind of like a moss of some sort. See, these trees just covered.
About the goat's beard, very good for starting fires.
What's really cool about it is that it's like a natural fire starter. Now, that goat's beard was a little too green. You want it to be black, which means it's dry and it's going to take a spark.
And actually, that's
really
not true. The black goat's
before
beard,
I
I
have a fuel
found
bar,
now in my experience,
which I've got
does
one
not
full
work
bar,
as
but
well
that's what I'm
as
using as my
the
flint
green
steel
goat's
flint.
beard.
So,
So, pro tip.
Yeah, if you know, one of the important things I like
The
to do
best
is
thing you
as
can
I'm
do,
walking, I'll be
pick
picking
it,
stuff up.
whatever
You just
goat's
never
beard you
know
can find, obviously
what
make
you're gonna
use of it.
find or what you're not
But the
gonna
greener
find
stuff, I don't know
later on
why,
in the
it
section,
actually
you know,
does
so
burn
keep things
better
up
than the
along the
black.
way. That's
I've tried
survival
keeping
tip
goat's
number
beard
one.
in my fire tin for a while, and it does turn black eventually and then doesn't want to work anymore.
Keeper and I have been at this for about half an hour. Definitely got cooler as we gained some elevation. The air is also very, very moist right now.
There's not a lot of elevation, by the way. This is a
Good
very,
rain
very easy,
Which is
gentle
fun.
hike.
But
Again, as I
yeah,
explained in the
hiking
last
with
one.
this 25-pound pack made me appreciate that much more my 10 to 15-pound pack in the summer.
What did I say? Oh, I said I had a 25-pound pack. Yeah, so that pack alone, empty, is 6 pounds. That thing's a freaking beast.
All right, well, we made it to the Cedars in just under 45 minutes. We were hauling.
Yeah, 45-minute hike.
Bad part is I started sweating, which in the winter you don't want to do because you can get hypothermia at night if you don't get a chance to
So
dry
this
off.
is winter runoff time. This is
Fortunately, I'm
probably
on fire,
sometime
and,
in
I've got
mid-March, I think, is
still
when I'm
some
out
time
right
to be
now.
able to dry off. Anyway, now that we're at the Cedars, right below Sam Hill,
It still got a little
time for
cold at
me
night, which is why I
off
think I brought the sleeping
to
bag.
my hiking spot.
And
So
I think I
actually,
brought a
we're going
tent
right
on
now.
this trip. I can't
And
remember.
I guess I'll go ahead and bring you guys along with me, just for the heck of it.
Those of you guys that have hiked Liberty Lake, you'll recognize the cedar grove here. And when I say the word Sam Hill, you'll know what that is.
Got a little creek we gotta cross up here. This keeper. Dog loves the water. She really loves it. Keep girl. Alright, see if I can cross these logs while videotaping and not falling in. Alright, we made it. So, I've actually camped out
Come on,
around
Chris,
here
we're going to
before,
frame you here.
and we'll go up to my old camping spot here real quick. We're going to go to someplace a little bit different.
So back then, especially on these early shows, I was
good.
going to spots I'd
So early, so I've been
hiked
out here.
to previously, and
Last
I
year,
almost
I was
always
here
scouted out
with my
stuff
friend
ahead of
Chelsea,
time. I went in with a
middle of
plan.
March.
I still
There's
do
snow
to a
everywhere.
degree. Like, I have a plan of what I
And
want to
there's
do,
no
what I
snow
want to
today.
accomplish, where I want to
It's very
go.
wet.
But
There's no
I
snow.
scouted all this stuff out very heavily with day hikes. So I knew exactly where I was going to go, what I was
Camped
going to
here
do,
before.
and kind of had it all planned out to a T. And
Here's
again,
where I was
I'm a
in my last
filmmaker,
video.
you know, anyway.
Here's my
And I like
record.
having that kind of planning.
It's like someone else has been here since me. And where I'm going is up that way.
So if you keep going this way where I'm headed, I finally do find a spot to camp, which again, like I said, I scouted ahead of time. And then not more than 50 yards beyond that is the Washington-Idaho border.
We're basically off-roading now to get to my special spot. I actually found the spot with my friend Amanda right after we shot the fall episode.
Oh, I forgot that was right. Yeah, I took
Oh, it's
another
sunny.
friend
Gee, I
out,
like that. This is awesome.
and that was right. Yeah, that was right after I shot the previous one.
Okay. Haha. Haha, found it. I love knowing this area like the back of my hand.
So there you go. I knew the area very, very well. Spent a lot of time out there.
Closer.
Again, it was close to home. And when you live in Spokane, Washington, there's not a whole lot of outdoor stuff around you,
So I camped with
unless you're willing to
Amanda
drive
last
like an hour. And I didn't want to do that because I was broke. I didn't have the
Here's
gas money to drive
Look at
for
this
an
firewood
hour,
we got.
so I had to make do.
There's wood everywhere. And I really love fire. Heck, I might even burn this place down. No, I'm just kidding. But,
A little cocky there,
cool.
too.
so when I was out here last time, I came, whoa, trippage. This is the same stick I used. Right here.
Oh,
To
yeah.
turn the fire. These logs were actually in the fire. I was burning them in half. And I laid right here. I didn't even have a tent that trip. It was crazy. Okay, well, we got a bit of delay.
That's right, yeah.
When I was up here last time, when we camped,
When I was out there with my
out that
friend,
way,
I gave her the tent, because I
the
had just a
only thing I
one-man
liked about it was we're
little
basically on
bivy
this
tent, so I
little
gave her the
ridge,
tent,
like a little
and I
hill
laid by the
trail.
fire all night.
And so there was a lot of slope around there, which made for kind of a dangerous camp. Down here, it's quite a bit flatter. Only drawback is that we're right next to the water, which means it's going to get really cold at night. So I think what we may do is we
This is
may
true, by the way.
go up that way and just see what's up there.
If you can get up above
see if there's a
from
better
the water,
spot.
it can be as much as 10 degrees warmer in the middle of the night.
We're now about a quarter of a mile from the trail itself, from the base of Sam Hill. So we're completely on our own now, which is good. We came up a little bit higher. It's definitely a little bit warmer up here, which is good. Just slightly. It's enough you can get away from the water. I mean, we still got water right there, but we're not going to be right on top of the water, which is good. So,
dude, I am rambling. I apologize, guys. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 water's cold. Blah, 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 get high, get warm. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't think we're the first ones to be here either.
Now, I will say, the spot I ended up finding was my favorite spot to go to here. This is actually then where I took Chris Tempel on his first overnight trip in our Average American episode. And then I did episode 4
looks like this is where that fire pit was.
out there as well,
They
too.
left me a grill. How cool is that?
Yeah. And that grill was always there. Like, every time I came out, I kept finding the same grill over and over again.
I would definitely want to be saving those plastic bottles, using the grill, anything I can do to make my life that much easier.
And I didn't plant that stuff. That stuff was there. And again, it shows you that I was not really out in the middle of nowhere.
I'll show you guys what we got. This is the Kelty Red Cloud, 6,400.
Red Cloud, that's what it was.
It holds 6,400 cubic inches of space. The pack itself weighs 6.5 pounds, though. By comparison, my Go Light pack, which you saw in the last episode, weighs just 1.5 pounds.
Oh, £1.5 pounds. Sorry, I thought it was half a pound. Still, £1.5 pounds to 6 pounds, big difference.
I know it's going to be colder tonight. It's going to get into possibly the mid-30s. So the temp's going to drop.
Oh yeah, that is a cold night.
And I can't get away without a sleeping bag. Unfortunately, the only sleeping bag I have weighs about 3 pounds.
True story. I still have that bag too. That was the bag I used when I was homeless, sleeping out of my car.
So between my pack and sleeping bag,
That bag I have is good to -20. Not the one I brought here. This is a blanket bag. But my good sleeping bag is good to -20. I love it.
Foam pad to insulate me from the ground. Got my tube tent.
Fun fact, if you watch my making of Leap Rise of the Beast, that foam pad right there is what I use to create the pads for my shoulder rig for my camera.
The good news is that once you know how to go ultralight, you can still use most of your gear. But then just make sure you're adapting for whatever time of year it actually is. Now, had this been an actual survival show, obviously I would try not to bring anything with me. But I'm not that crazy about doing this yet. I don't even know how these web series are going to take off. So
I'm not that crazy about doing it yet, and I haven't spent the night alone yet. So I figured give myself some creature comforts first before I started paring things back. And as you guys know, in later episodes, I do go out with practically nothing. But these early episodes, it's more like backpacking.
So I'm going to take a quick snack break. Maybe get some
I'll
water
keep her like the pine nuts.
and get camp set up.
Gotta keep the dog spoiled.
Never ever spoil your backpacking dog. Because then she ends up like mine.
Alright, so this is... Okay, so I'm using the tube tent again. That's good. I couldn't remember which tent I brought this trip. Like I mentioned, I do still have that tent. I don't use it because where I live now and where I go, it's mosquito country. But there, in basically just outside the city, we didn't have the mosquito problem.
Well, that took 10 minutes to do. But anyway, now we got the tent set up. You always want to sleep with your head at the top. That means I'll be up here.
The reason why you put your head uphill, pretty self-explanatory, I think. It's so you don't get the blood rush. If your head's downhill, all the blood goes into your head. Anytime you have to get up, you're going to get lightheaded. So if you sleep with your head uphill, everything's balanced out a little bit more.
I can see sunline's still up there. It's
3 o'clock?
Oh, I don't have this on autofocus. That's okay. Coming up on 3 o'clock now. I think my next step is to get some firewood after I lay out my sleeping
Another
bag.
nice
So
part about where I was going
that's-
here at
that's
the
a very
time,
important tip.
at Liberty Lake,
Especially in the winter,
I
when you're using a
could
sleeping
get up in the
bag,
morning,
you want
go to the grocery store, get
usually
anything I
roll
needed,
the
some
thing,
supplies for the
way ahead
trip,
of time. That way it has
pack
time for
up,
the
get in my
fill
car,
to
drive there,
proof
hike
up,
in,
to
and
keep
still
that
have
warm
plenty
night.
of time to
Ooh,
enjoy the
this is
afternoon
bad.
before nightfall.
Don't ever do this. This is a big
Yeah,
warning.
just because it was all so close. I mean, like I said, this is
Stuck my
25
knife
minutes
into
from my
the tree
house.
there. I could have easily forgotten about it.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. I never stick my knife
Not
into
one of my
anything like that
brightest
anymore.
movers. I'm
Horrible
gonna go
idea.
ahead
There's
and
my
put
margarita.
some rope tight
It
to
looks
this,
like
and
one of those
go
glow
and get in the
sticks, doesn't
river,
it?
and let it get nice and cold from the creek over there. So
I believe I still... Do I still have that water
get
bottle?
this ready.
Maybe I don't have that water bottle anymore. I did for the longest time, and I think finally it just got old. I opened it up one day, and it's like, this is musty. But I had that water bottle for close to 20 years. One of those Nalgene's, back when those were all the rage in the late 90s and early 2000s. I got it for Christmas one year. And again, the point of the margarita was to help me sleep, so I spent the night out
4
there.
o'clock, but I'm already starting to get a little bit hungry. I'm gonna do part of my dinner now. And for that, we're gonna do chicken Polynesian.
Ooh, backpacker
And
meals.
I add a package of ramen noodles to that as well. It's gonna make it taste pretty good.
I will say, when it comes to backpacking meals, my favorite is lasagna.
Gas.
Now this, I still have this stove. The clicker doesn't work anymore. I have to light it with my striker, but I still have that burner. And then my brother got me something. It is a special device that you can use, because, like, how many times have you been out on a trip using these little propane stoves? You come back home and it's only half full, and you don't want to pack a halfie on your next trip, so it just starts gathering dust and with all the rest of your gear. So he bought me this device where you put it, you get 2 canisters that are like half full. You put one in sunlight, one in the freezer for like 15 minutes. You pull them out, you screw this device on, it's a valve, and it transfers it via thermodynamics from one canister to the other canister, so now you end up with an empty canister and a full canister. And it's great, because you don't feel like I have to pack this half-filled propane thing around anymore.
One of the challenges I've been having
So,
right now
highly
is,
recommend them. Now, it's not something I would necessarily take on a backpack trip, because if I pack it in, I'm going to pack it out. But when you're at home, it's nice to have around, because you do your transfers, and you can take, you know, couple empties or halfies and make 2 full ones out of it, and then you throw away the full empty ones in.
On the ground are just soaked to the bone. They're not gonna do me any good for the fire tonight. I think what I'm gonna do right now, I'm feeling like some lemonade. I don't want to bust in the margarita quite yet. That's gonna be more of a fireside drink. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these plastic bottles over here, and I'm gonna go rinse this thing out, fill it up with some water, dump some iodine tablets in it to purify.
Yeah, iodine tabs are great. I do have a couple filtration devices. I've got the straw. I've got another one that's kind of works with like squeeze bags, and then I've got the pump, and then there's iodine tabs. I like iodine tabs. They're just the lightest, the smallest, and the least amount of work. You dump them in, shake it up, let it sit for half an hour, and you're good to go. If you really are questioning the water, you put 2 in. Sometimes 3. And then you add Crystal Light lemonade, and it hides the flavor, so you don't get the iodine taste.
Cotton in there, which you can use as a fire starter if you need to, but that's just to keep the pills from.
It's kind of fun going back and watching these, because like I can see the origins of the stuff I still do now, and I hadn't fully figured everything out yet, right? Obviously I got fire down, but everything else I'm still kind of experimenting with and learning and figuring out, okay, what do I like, what works best for me, and that's why, especially in these first like 4 to 5 episodes, it's all very different. I'm in the same place, but everything I'm doing is completely different each one, and I'm experimenting and I'm learning. I think in episode 3 or 4, whichever one I didn't bring my buddy with me on, was the first time I did char cloth. I'd never done that before, and that was my experimentation with that.
I'm going to use my plastic spork. Open up like that. I used to use a titanium one, but this is a lot lighter, and it came with my cooking pot.
Yeah, I highly recommend plastic sporks. You can go to Walmart and get them for like $1 or $2 a piece.
Hold the camera and open this at the same
That's where it's
time.
at. I don't carry the titanium stuff anymore. It's too heavy. Yes, it's durable.
Oh, yum.
Like in a bug out scenario,
Oh, that looks good.
I would do titanium because it'll last me forever. But when I know I'm going on just an overnight or even a week-long backpack trip, I carry plastic.
I'm going to place you guys.
And if all else fails, I can always make chopsticks.
So that, spread out my little spider legs. A little spider pot on this thing. And you get to watch me eat.
Yeah, let's watch me stuff my face from a low angle.
And if it's too bland,
I really should have mounted this up on a log or a tree.
Chicken flavor packet that I had from earlier.
Not a horrible shot, but not the best shot either.
It's good. Definitely needs that seasoning though. So I'll go ahead and add that to it.
Yeah. Always add the spice packet. If you're going to do ramen or anything like that, just dump the stuff in. Yeah, it's a lot of sodium,
Flavor.
but it makes it taste so much better.
Sodium in that stuff, though. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Case in point.
And, I've got a little pile over there for garbage that I'll burn up when I get my fire going here in a little bit.
I really did have a lot of fun on these trips.
It's starting to get really dark. One thing about the mountains.
And again, it was really just me getting comfortable out there, you know?
It's down low. And if I look at my watch, it's now 4:30. Sun's been setting around 5:30. So that makes perfect sense. I'm so dark I can't even see my face. Sorry about that, guys. It's alright. Let's try this now.
It should be a lot better. So my whole getup here is like from Old Navy, by the way. And I only say that because I used to work there, which is why I can say that and not be gay. I worked at Old Navy for 3 years right after high school. And so yeah, that shirt and those pants are Old Navy shirt and pants.
And when you're in the great outdoors. Alright, now we're going to do a fire with no matches. Okay?
Let's see.
Big secret right here.
Oh, I'm still doing the cotton ball and Vaseline.
Covered in Vaseline. Put that on my little rock there. This is basically going to go up like a candle.
Yeah, this, like I mentioned in the last one, if you want to learn how to do fire with a striker, flint striker, ferro rod, whatever you want to call it. Again, don't hate me. I call them flint strikers. I know it's not flint. It is a ferro rod. I call it a flint. This is the best way to go about doing it.
Fluff it out a little bit so it'll take the spark.
Because it takes one strike. And those things will last for like 20,000 strikes. So think about how many fires you can get off it. Now, I've gone through 10 strikers in my lifetime, something like that. Every couple of years, I find myself buying a new one. I don't think I fully had learned the trick yet from Nick Moore. I mentioned in the last one, he used to be a SEER instructor out for the military, for the Air Force, for survival training. And so he taught me how to get fires going really, really quick.
It's definitely taking a lot longer, though. And it's taking a lot more work and time than...
Oh, yeah. Is this the episode where everything was wet? I had one episode where everything was just soaking wet, and I struggled to keep that fire going.
So, I think by far the creepiest part about being out here is just the isolation. It's amazing.
So now here I am reflecting on being out there alone. Because remember, this is now my first full night, right?
I mean, I hear planes.
I think I've started to hit the margarita by now. I can kind of hear it in my speech. It's a little bit slurred.
It's depressing. Like if I was lost.
And I'm getting all like deep
I don't know
about my thoughts right now.
Really kind of puts things into perspective. I'm thinking I may just turn in early. I've got my...
Yeah, I was getting pissed that I couldn't keep the fire going. It was so damp out there.
Throw what I have
It's
left
a struggle.
as far as this wood.
But I did make a discovery.
On the fire, man, this stuff is just so damp it won't stay going.
And the discovery is birch bark. I found a rotted log,
which I don't.
a birch log. And so with birch bark, for those that don't know, the bark itself is extremely flammable because it's got a lot of oil in it. And the inside of the log will rot out first, but the bark will stay good and will still burn. And so I just started ripping into the birch and ripping off the sheets and sheets of this bark. And that's how I kept my fire going until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night that night.
Burns very well. Now I knew it burned well dry, but I didn't know it burns well wet.
I mean, look at that. Everything is soaking wet, and I've got a fire like that now because of the birch bark.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's the rotted log.
A whole pile of birch bark now, and I can probably keep this fire going for another 45 minutes to an hour, just by feeding in bark every now and then.
Now, what you would do in a real survival scenario, use the birch to get your fire going, and then get your firewood near the fire so it can dry itself out. So then as you're feeding stuff in, you can keep it going.
It wasn't until about, I don't know, an hour ago that she started getting cold, and I ended up literally spooning with her underneath my sleeping bag, which I was...
Another reason to go do your backpacking with the dog, if you're going ultralight, not taking sleeping bags and stuff, bring a dog, and then you cuddle the dog when it gets cold at night.
Anyway, I think we can go try to make some breakfast or something.
But yeah, that was my first night alone in the outdoors. And I did it. One thing I was always guilty of in these episodes was like, I'd wake up in the morning after spending the night. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm bored. And so I just break camp whenever I wake up. Sometimes it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, break camp,
and
hike out.
I'm starting to break down camp. I'm not seeing any blue sky right now. Looks like it's all clouds and looks like it could rain. So hopefully I get out here quickly.
Oh, yep, there I go. Yeah, I still remember a lot of that trip. Yep, yeah, I had to come back and get the camera. And this was me making that point of, I'm really out here alone. I got to come get this thing.
Well, I couldn't just leave you guys here.
So yeah, that is my first night alone in the outdoors. I wouldn't call it a wilderness. Again, I'm in a state park or county park. I can't even remember now. That park, by the way, has grown up a lot over the years. I went back to Spokane over the summer to see my dad, or my family, for my dad's retirement. And actually, sorry, that was in May. And we did go out to the park once, or maybe it was the year before. I can't remember. But it's grown. When I was doing these shows, there was like a little dirt parking area at the trailhead. And now they've got this huge parking lot here, and you have to still walk another quarter mile to the trailhead because it's just gotten so big and so popular. Hey, leave the paw alone. My new dog, Bodie, well, he's 7 now, or almost 7. New compared to the shows. Licking his paw. But yeah, that's, those were the early days. So that video's got 41,000 views. Not bad. Season 1, Episode 2, Winter Runoff is what I called that one. Cool. So yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning, get this commentary video to 1,000 views, get the last one to 1,000 views, and I will do another one. And I will keep these things rolling until I get them all knocked out through all my episodes. And then when I get 1,000 views on all of them, then I will go ahead and I will do a new Surviving the Wild, and I guarantee you that it will be worth it. A lot has changed. I was in my mid-20s there, early mid-20s. I'm almost 40 now. I've gotten wiser, I like to think. I've gotten better over the years. And I've got some ideas to make it a little more exciting too, but also still very practical. I never wanted to just make it sensational. I always wanted to make it real, you know, like Les would do. And it's like, hey, this is what you do in a situation like this. And I got some good stuff planned. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this around. Help me get to 1,000 views on these, and we'll keep them coming. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.